I'm guessing we're editing that out. So, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, good times, whatever time it is, wherever you are listening. Joined with me, as always, Mr. Chris Q.
How you doing?
And Mr. Jamie Page.
How you doing?
Woohoo! How are you all doing, actually? Because you always say how you doing, and then no one ever answers the... So, what are you guys up to?
I'm sitting out in the workshop.
5'8", 5'8.5".
I'm a little bit taller than that.
I've met you in person, Chris. There's no way you're 5'8.5".
I am
4'8.5", maybe.
Oh, shut up. So, Rich is busy fixing the part in my hair because he's towers over me. Oh, Chris, your part's wrong. Let me fix that for you.
Did you know? Did you? I'm actually trying to find the list because I actually do have the script for the show and it's on a set of notes, but I have it on notes, and then when you do a new note with notes, which is an Apple thing, by the way, it's called Notes. It just puts it like further down the list. So, and I literally can't find it.
You've only been doing this for going on, we're in our 5th friggin' season. I mean, you think you'd remember by now?
No, well, yeah, I have, but we'd like to be. I was going to say we like to be organised, but I think that's gone out of the way. There it is. And obviously while I'm doing this, I haven't got the screen on either, so I can't even see what's going on. It's all gone to pot, and we're like 4 minutes in. How's that for organised?
Do you want to start again?
No, it's fine. We'll wing it. You just edit that bit. It'll be fine.
No, I won't. If it's good enough for you, I'm leaving it.
No, I'm not leaving. I'm not. That's extra work. So what's Chris been doing?
We're winging it for Christmas. And what has Rich done?
Very little. But talking of little, Jamie, tonight's show is brought to you in part.
You've been talking to Vicky again.
Is brought to you in part by Yorkshire Grit, the Woodturners Abrasive Faced, our good friend Chad at Mancrafting, Pam from Highland Boxes, and our good mate Steve, whose name I've just messed up.
Neelan.
Steve Neelan, that's it. Not Steve Harneil. If you go back through half the shows, I call him Steve Harneil from Harneil Media. If you want to find out about our sponsors, honestly do, because these people are awesome. I mean, Yorkshire Grit's fantastic stuff. Chad's mugs are amazing. Pam makes the most awesome hybrid pen blanks and knife scales that she leads, in my opinion. She leads the field in that. And Steve does the website, and all the information is on there, makersinternationalpodcast.com/sponsors. And seriously, go and check them out, but don't leave us a message because nobody answers the messages. We do have email though, don't we?
No, I never set mine up.
We do, but I never answer it.
I do. And I do answer it. Nobody messages me.
Everybody message Richard from now on. If you have a question, don't ask Jamie or I, because we'll never get it. So we don't
message me on Facebook or Instagram. I've got that on my phone.
Do you not have your emails on your phone?
It keeps asking me for a password, and I'm like, "No, go away."
Oh, what? Dude, it's 2020. Who doesn't get their emails on apart from Chris, who's still in 1920? But who doesn't get their emails via their phone anymore?
You mean
I do? I'm just fed up. I keep having to put the password in. It keeps telling me it's to keep. I put it in and it tells me it's okay, and then it keeps telling me it's to re-enter it, and I'm like, I can't be doing with this.
Look, damn it! The Pony Express has worked well for me for so long. Why should I change?
Or the flying pigeon.
Yeah, well, the pigeons work too, but I don't like them because they have a habit of doing that thing on my head. But the Pony Express works really well, so I'm happy with that. Plus, with the less opportunity I give people to get in touch with me, the less chance I have of becoming annoyed. So I'm happy.
I mean, if you never talk to anyone, you can't get annoyed with people. That is very true. But you sort of do you not get like? Do you not miss out on stuff?
That's like antisocial. Yeah, I got a problem. Anyway, no, Richard, I just don't care. I mean, I'm retired. There was a time when I cared. I was up to date on everything right up until 2004. Then when I retired, I didn't care anymore. I was like, I'm done.
Dong.
I'm done. I'm done. I am done. It's like if you can care and worry and spend your life looking at your phone. I'm not there. Bye bye. I left that behind.
I've just got this vision in my head now. They're like Chris when he was at work. It was like Chicago Main Street, busy, hustle, bustle, cars, taxis everywhere, and then all of a sudden he retires, and it's like Tombstone. It's like just the wind, and he's there in the middle of the Main Street, just him, like the sheriff of the town, and then nobody's out, just gone.
Actually, I'd be in the saloon. I'd be in the saloon drinking to my own merry cheer.
On your own.
Oh, whatever.
Oh dear.
Anyway, we're really not grasping the spirit of what we wanted to do today very well.
It sounds like you're grasping the spirit. It's in the saloon on your own.
Well, that is a bit of holiday cheer, I suppose. Go ahead, Jamie. I'm sorry.
There was a question to kick it off, if you like, from Doug Miller out in the chat.
Sure.
He says, "Are the three of you finishing making gifts, or are you still under the gun getting these things done?"
I'll start. I'll start because my answer is easy. Every other year besides this year, I would still be under the gun because my trust me, I have over a decade's experience in doing this. My wife will tell me what she wants done, and I usually start on my making of presents in October. And people kind of look at me and go, "Why?" It's because the amount of presents I have to do, it takes me that long. I have to have. Because and I don't spend my entire day out in my shop either. I might spend 5 or 6 hours at the most. But all the way up from the time I start and finish the first batch of presents that my wife has asked me to make, and then I go to work on presents I'm making for family and friends, personalized individual gifts for this person, individual present for that person. When I'm done with that, I think I can come in here, put my feet up, have a beer, and be done with the holiday season. And my wife comes home and goes, "Oh, I forgot my coworkers." And I'll go, "Oh, crap. All right. How many coworkers you got?" She goes, 50. Here we go. And so right now I would still probably be getting messages from my wife, whether she was upstairs or at work. She'd be going, "Oh, I forgot Alice. Could you add one more?" Or and then I'll get Fred. I forgot Fred. Fred's put Fred on the list too. Oh, God.
And Fred's friends.
Yeah, I mean,
friends' wives.
I will be making whatever I happen to be making for her coworkers that year. I would honestly be making them up till the 23rd of December because that's when she takes them all into work. So yeah, but this year I'm not making anything. I'm not doing a damn thing.
There you go.
Chris has ordered 4,000 wooden chopping boards from Alibaba.com, and they're arriving from China.
One way of doing it. One way of doing it.
But I have, for the past 15 years, I've made most of my family's Christmas presents to be sent out. So I think I deserve a year off, don't you?
Do you know what, Chris? I mean, are you making Christmas presents this year, Jamie? Or have you made Christmas presents this year?
Only a Secret Santa gift, but the Secret Santa person I've got, which is a community thing, they're actually getting a few little multiple gifts as opposed to one big gift. Right. Apart from that, none of my family are interested in homemade stuff, really. But saying that, I was bought. My parents went out and come back with a load of scrap plywood. And so there's a nice gift for you, Jamie, for the scroll saw or some pyrography or whatever. And then proceeded to tell me I had to make some baubles out of said plywood. I was like, "Well, that's nice of you. Give me a load of wood as a gift and then tell me I've got to use it for gifts for you and your friends."
I brought you all this timber. Can you make me a...
Yeah, just for you.
Yeah. So I actually made some 4 baubles today. That basically, I think it said lockdown 2020 on it. So,
did you make them in the shape of a padlock?
No, I should have done though.
Just make a padlock bauble. That'd be kind of cool.
I should have done them in the shape basically of a face mask.
Do you know? It's really interesting that you say about people not being interested in handmade stuff, and we
we
kind
go.
of no,
Yeah,
honestly, Chris, because Chris was like, no, I don't agree with this at all, and that's brilliant because we've got literally both sides of the sort of that part of the discussion. But I mean, this year I've done a Joe. Do you remember Joe's Christmas?
Yeah.
Amazon.
He just
Joe's,
made
Joe's,
orders.
Joe's Christmas was Amazon. Yeah,
Absolutely.
Santa Amazon.
That's exactly what I've done this year, and I know there's going to be people that are going, "What?" But this year, I mean, irrespective of the socio-economic and pharmaceutical outcomes of this year, just completely put that to one side. I have been really busy this year. I have worked like more than previous years, more than some other years put together with other years, you know.
Well, you played. Well, this is there was a stretch where you weren't because of the whole pandemic thing that was going on. But so you've been working your butt off, doing catch up until now. Basically, is what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, there was sort of March, April, and May where I wasn't doing anything external, but I was being corralled around the house by Kat. Do this, do that, because you know you're at home.
Sure. What else are you going to do?
Patio, decking, pergola, trellis, guttering, paint the windows. You know, all those sorts of like
fun tasks.
things.
Yeah.
All the really really cool tasks that I've basically I'd been able to put. Oh, I'm too busy. I haven't got time. Oh, I've been working so. Yeah, all that. Just like I've got this big long list. And
I've got you now.
And then I started playing catch up. But also I was doing the hospital shifts and all the rest of it. So from June onwards, June through to like the beginning of September, I was doing 12, 13-hour days because I was doing my own jobs to catch up from not being working, and then I was doing hospital shifts as well, and it just went crazy. And do you know what? I don't want to make things when I don't have to. Does that?
That's why. And you should.
I'm grateful.
And look, and you shouldn't. And if you don't want to do it, then you shouldn't do it. I mean, there's nobody's putting, you know, unless somebody's got a whip to your back, you know, why should you? I mean, because if you know, it's the holidays. You're supposed to enjoy the holidays as much as the rest of everybody else.
Well, that was kind of going to be
enjoy your
point.
holiday.
You know, if you're, I mean, there are going to be some people out there, I'm sure, who are under pressure financially because of everything that's happened to them. You know, less money coming in because they've been furloughed, or there maybe some people losing jobs. You know, we've all heard stories of all of those other things. And they're going to be under pressure financially. And actually, if that was the case for me, then I would be like, actually, do you know where I can kind of cost cut a little bit here and not order it online and make it myself? Then I'll do that. Absolutely. But there's the time flip of that. You know, if you're under pressure for time, why add more pressure? Because, like, I mean, Chris, you've already said you start in October making these things.
Yeah, I do. But I make a lot, Richard. I mean, I don't make a few.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, you're retired, so you've got to work 8 hours a day and then come home and clean the house, feed the kids, and then go out to the workshop and rinse and repeat every day. Right. So you've got potentially a slight advantage there over somebody that's got a full-time.
Oh no, that's probably a huge advantage. But yeah, okay, I hear you.
You know, there is that, you know, to throw in the mix. Why add to that pressure? I mean, I remember. In fact, you guys might remember, because I think we were still doing the podcast then. Kat and I did handmade Christmas, where we literally made handmade things for everybody, because we went, we're skint, we're tight, you know, we don't like the shops. And it was so much. We were literally still making things 2 o'clock in the morning, Christmas Eve, Christmas morning, night, you know, and it was just.
That's me every year. That's me, except this year.
I just want Christmas to be over. Just make it New Year, please. Let me go to sleep and it'd be New Year's Day. And it just, like you said, it just kind of throws Christmas to the wayside.
Well,
you know
I mean, like I said, it depends on you, Richard. If it's not fun for you, then don't do it. I mean, I happen to get a lot of fun and gratification out of making, and I'm talking not from my wife's coworkers, because I don't even know them and I could give a flying, you know. But I mean, for my family and the people that I know, my friends of my wife that I do know, I actually enjoy making stuff for them because I know what they like, and I know that if I do this right, they're going to really, really love it. Because not only because I made it for them, but they knew I was thinking about it. thinking about them when I made it. And then, in knock on wood, it was worth having, So I don't. It's not like I mean, that whole thing about me making cutting boards came off of me doing Christmas wrong one year. And what I ended up doing was I batched out just a ton of freaking cutting boards and sent them out to my family, my wife's family, and a couple of her close workers. And I batched out a bunch of them. And that's where the whole cutting board thing came, because I did a video on it and people saw these freaking cutting boards I was making.
You set up an entire production line in the company. But you've got vans coming in and out, and
it was the wrong
to order still, don't you?
It's the wrong way to do it, though. And I'll tell you this. I'll tell you why right now. Because you can, like, for my wife's coworkers, I'll batch out stuff like that for her coworkers because I don't care. But for friends, people that you know, and your family, you really should spend the time to make individual gifts if you're going to do it, because not everybody in my immediate and my wife's family cook. Okay, so what the hell good is a cutting board for somebody who never operates a knife in a kitchen, So you can make
pen
presents. Well, like pens have been something I've been making for my wife, for her coworkers, for eons, and it works because it's a work thing. Everybody at work has a pen, so that's fine. So that's cool, and that works for them. But for my own family, would I make pens? No, probably not. I mean, because that's kind of impersonal. So I mean,
here's a thought though, because I made my brother a pen. I think it was last Christmas. I made him a pen, and I used I think it was a Taylor Murfield pen kit. Taylor Murfield, who supplied all the pen kits for us.
Maker Central, yeah.
So that was a pen that I bought from Dan, and the pen blank I actually commissioned Pam, Highland Boxes. She made me a bespoke blank in a set of very specific colours, and I actually sent her samples of the colours and said they need to be kind of as close to this as you could possibly get, and it needs to be not, normally the pen blanks tend to be either a straight cast, as in like a
no, I get it, Richard.
Right angles to the pen. These were an angle,
okay.
So it was actually the cast was made at a 45-degree angle as well. So it wasn't a straightforward. It was a really. So what you be quite exact.
Bottom line was you made something especially for him.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's what I was talking about. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Special. I mean, in that case, it's. I find it rewarding to do that for somebody, and because I know they're going to like it. But that's what I'm not saying that making a pen for your brother there was an impersonal gift, because obviously you thought about it, you thought about him, you gave it to him because you knew he'd like it, so therefore it works.
Absolutely, but it like you say, it could have been quite an impersonal. We just batch out like 10 blanks.
Yeah, I mean, if I went and bought 50 walnut blanks and turned 50 walnut pens, I mean, that's who cares? I mean, what'd you get from Chris? I got a walnut pen. Yeah, me too. It's one of those kind of things.
But it's unique because it's a slightly different piece of wood.
Yeah.
Yeah, my bit's got a knot in it as yours.
Yeah, every pen's unique, even though they're all the same walnut pen.
It's the same wood, different kit though. Different kit. That's yeah. And you know what? That's fine. But I mean, there's that. Because that article, because Richard, and give a little backstory. Richard sent an article, and he was just pulling my chain a little bit. I think it was an article about somebody who said that they were discouraging people from actually making things for Christmas, and I said that's a bunch of BS, because I don't buy it, and I don't, and that's where Richard and I got into the conversation we just had, because I think it is worth it. I think you should. I'm not saying you should do it. No, I'm just saying if you care to do it, then absolutely you should do it. There's nothing wrong with that. The problem, the whole argument that person had that wrote that article is they said it wasn't personal enough, because they made the mistake that I made with the cutting boards, because not everybody chooses to cook. And so a cutting board is not a useful thing for them. So they look at it and go, okay, whatever, and it never gets used. But when you start making them for people, individuals that very well, and I'm talking your family, obviously, and maybe some close friends, then what they're going to use and what they won't.
Exactly. I mean, you can go out to a shop and buy, and we've all done it. Let's be honest. Don't fib. We've all done it. We've all gone round at last minute and be like, oh, I still need that thing for Tony or for Auntie Jess or, you know, Uncle
Right.
Bob or whatever. And you're like, oh, what, oh. And then you go to get something. You're like, oh, that will do. And they're three for a tenner or 3 for 2 or whatever. And you're like, oh, but we'll get 3 of those because then if somebody comes around with, you always have that gift, the surprise knock on the door on Christmas Eve.
Right.
Oh, thanks, you shouldn't have because we didn't think you would, and now we feel obliged to give you. But we've got this bottle of wine or this box of chocolates or something. Oh, yeah,
A Link's gift set.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'll get all my nephews. Yeah, the old links, but so they're not fighting. It's like you can have Africa, you can have this one, and you can have
I think that's Axe in the USA.
or whatever it is. But you know, we've all done it, haven't we? Yes, we've all done it because you get to that point of Christmas shopping. It's like, I just want to die. I don't want to go. No, I just stop people because everyone go home. And let me do my, everyone just gets to that point of Christmas shopping, don't they? They just want to bang their head against the register. And you can easily go to a store and purchase that impersonal, poorly thought out gift. And
Yes.
that can happen for the handmade as well. What I think the article was trying to point out, and it might be worth actually linking to this because it's got both sides. I think they were talking a lot about if you make something for somebody, you're sort of, and I don't 100% agree with this, but I kind of see the point I think they're trying to make, if that makes sense, that if you give something to somebody that you've made that's not really well thought out, you're kind of. Do you remember getting that book token from your aunt that you never saw apart from on Boxing Day? And she got you that book token that you couldn't spend. And you had to be grateful, or you had to sit down and write the letter. Your heart wasn't in it. You just kind of forced to write the thank you letter to Auntie Joan for the book token that you're never going to spend because it's kind of out of politeness almost.
Yeah.
If somebody's made something for you, you're sort of up in the ante because you kind of, out of politeness, you almost sort of have to be that extra bit polite.
Well, you know what? I don't know if
I think that's where they were heading with that.
I don't even necessarily agree with it. Well, I mean, it all depends on your family and your environment, I suppose. I mean, my brothers and sisters, oh, that's nice, Chris. And they may love it, and it may be the best thing they got all Christmas. But do you think I'll get any? They won't even tell me. Oh, okay, it's the present we got from Chris this year.
Yeah, but I mean, if you got that present, if you gave that present and they went, oh yeah, great, cheers, and you're like, damn it, I spent a week making that, and I just get, yeah, cheers.
I could have lost a finger.
I mean, you actually, you could, but I mean, probably not a scroll sword, Jamie. Let's be honest.
Well, you know what, here's the key to life. Here's the key to life. Everybody, if you want to avoid frustration, expect nothing.
Yeah, that's a good one, actually, Chris.
I'm serious. Expect nothing. This goes down to lending money. If somebody says, "Can I borrow $20?"
No,
give them. Well, if you're gonna give it to them, but don't expect to get it back. Just do it out of the goodness of your heart and be happy you did it. And then, but don't expect it, because if you're expecting things, that's when you start getting frustrated and angry. It's like that's when you get the attitude. Damn it! I spent 2 hours on my workshop making that. Do me a favor. Shut up.
Exactly, and I'd be interested actually in people listening to this, whether now live or later in the future. Have you ever given a gift and kind of got a bad
blasé response,
or even just kind of thought, oh, okay, well maybe next year I won't put quite so much effort. Or just a bit thought, oh, No,
I don't recall ever getting that, but I think if I did get something like that, I would just go, okay, maybe I need to rethink what that person may want next year, because I didn't hit the mark this time around, so I know that was the wrong direction. I'll try a different direction next year. I don't care. You know what? I spent the time. I made it. I gave it to you. I was thinking about you when I was making it. And if you don't appreciate it, you know what? That's fine. It's your present. I mean, how many of us have gotten presents from our parents when we were kids that we couldn't have given two craps about?
100%. I mean, I was
So
literally,
I mean,
I was thinking of a very specific present one year that I had, and I got. I think they were godparents. It was that kind of very distant relation, and I got a voucher for a cinema. And when I was like 6 or 7, I think I was when I got this present. Never went to the cinema as kids. I think the first cinema I went to, I was 13 or 14, and I went with my brother to see the Memphis Belle film because he wanted to see it. You know, it was that kind of like, if you want to go and see it, you got to take your little brother. Oh, really? You know, that kind of thing, because it wasn't something that we did.
Okay.
In our family, you know, it was what it was. I got this cinema, and I'm like, I didn't really even understand at that age what a cinema was. It was just a piece of paper with, you know, a price on it. Like,
right. Well, I mean, you know, I had parents that would buy us the one gift they thought we really wanted. Then all the rest of the presents under the tree were underwear, socks, jeans, shirts. You know, it's like, and as a kid growing up, you look at it going, it's not a present. It's freaking clothes. That's not a toy. I don't want this shit.
I want video games. My friends are getting bikes and radio cars and stuff.
And I need to have a talk. It's like,
I remember getting a spirograph and giving it straight to my sister.
Well, you know what? Then what's the difference between that and somebody getting a present from you?
But I'd love to have one now, though.
That might happen too. I mean, of course, if you spend the time making it, you don't want that to be the response you get from it. I understand that. But if that's the response you get, then that's the response you get. But the point is you did it. You know what? And a lot of people, like you mentioned when you started, that people under economic pressure, it's actually, you can actually get by with a really nice Christmas as far as gift giving on your own behalf by making them yourself, and it won't cost you the wallet that it would have cost you if you shopped on Amazon. So, I mean, kill two birds with one stone. Give something handmade and save yourself some money at the same time, especially if you're in a pinch. I don't have a problem with that. I don't see that. I just don't buy the whole don't do it. No. What do you mean don't do it? If I want to do it, I'm going to friggin' do it. Don't tell me what to do.
I think this is kind of an interesting twist on the whole kind of whether it's making presents, giving presents, receiving them, or buying them, or whatever it is. You know, I think it tells a lot about the person. I mean, I can think back if I had to kind of say to my 6-year-old self, you know, someone's gone to the effort to do this. You might not like it, but yeah, that genuinely is the thought that counts. And how would you feel, even if you don't like it? At least, you know, be grateful, say thank you. And I think that's quite telling on who we have. I say who we, not necessarily you and I, you the listener, I the person talking, but us as a species, as a society, as a race, have kind of become a bit, you know. And I mean, I guess this goes through like our parents and our parents' parents, and you know the Regency relations and the Victorian relations that we had, all look on the next to going, oh, youth of today kind of thing, and probably is. We've sort of got a little bit
spoiled,
entitled, whatever word you want to use. Yeah.
I mean, you think about it, years ago, they had no option but to make stuff.
Absolutely, you know, a piece of coal and an orange and a sack of walnuts in your sock at the end of your bed, and you were living pretty sort of thing.
So do you remember the film Santa Claus the movie?
Yes.
Yeah, where I think I can't remember the name. The Santa Claus in that he whittled down a figurine of an elf, and that was the kids' gifts.
Yep, it was a wooden figure of an animal.
Do you think this is
That's Kris Kringle, by the way.
Yes, that's it. Do you think this is kind of partly to blame of the market? I mean, I don't know. TV advert, unless you're getting a 50-inch plasma TV and a brand new iPad, you're
it's mostly to do
with
with
being.
I think it's mostly to do with the fact that most people are better off now than they used to be. You know, and so the means is there, and so when somebody sees that, you know, possibly you didn't go to the max for what they wanted, they get disappointed. You know, it's like, you know what? We're not kids anymore, people. We're grown-ups, all right? I mean, come on. Put your big boy pants on and just be grateful that somebody decided to think of you and get you something. I don't care if it was your mother. Just be glad you're still on speaking terms with her, because I know some folks who aren't. It's like, you don't know.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
It's I mean, Christmas can be kind of a stressful time if you just
Well,
take the present aspect out
It
of
could
it
be
completely.
Hanukkah, it could be Kwanzaa, it could be whatever. I mean, just don't expect anything, and then be grateful for whatever you do end up getting in return. I mean, it's like I'm not here to be your life coach. I mean, that's just how I look at things. I don't expect anything. If I get something, I'm thrilled. If I don't, I didn't lose anything because I didn't expect it. You know, it's like it's just a lot. It's a lot easier to way to live your life.
Be grateful when Santa brings you a scroll saw, Chris.
You know what?
If he brings me a scroll saw, we're gonna have words.
If somebody brought me a scroll saw, I would actually be thankful because the one that I have, it should be a boat anchor instead of being called anyway. We have questions. If you want to take on a few questions, I don't know if there's any out in the chat, Jamie.
Of course.
Go ahead and grab those. Can I?
Well, mate.
Okay.
Yeah. Go for it. Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Pugh, once again, thank you, Andy. Appreciate the questions, my friend, and continued support and help with this podcast because we would have 15 minutes we wouldn't know what to do with each week if we didn't have questions from you, my friend. So thank you. Appreciate it. I'll ask you guys this question and then I'll answer it. What present have you made that got a much better reaction than you could have hoped for? Or has it ever happened?
So I can start this one. So this wasn't actually for Christmas, despite that being the theme of today's show. It was actually for my cousin's wedding. I made may have seen pictures of it. I made a life-size replica of a post box.
I remember that. Yeah.
And I gave that to my cousin for her wedding, and it actually brought tears to her eyes. So whether they were good tears or not, that's for people to decide. But she seemed to like it.
That was actually that thing had a function for the wedding or something, didn't it?
Yeah. So people so it had a lock on it,
right?
So people could give gift vouchers, money, whatever,
donations,
and obviously no one could actually steal it either.
Got it. Cool.
But what Jamie doesn't realise is it actually they didn't like it, and the only reason it brought a tear to her eye was because he dropped it on her foot.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and I was the only one that had the key.
I remember that, that was really well made. You did a good job on that. What about you, Richard?
Do you know? I was trying to think. I've given quite a few. The problem I have with giving gifts generally is the family's quite spread out, so you don't. The way we do gifts in our family is like my brothers live hundreds of miles away, so we tend to all we'll go to a central place in the family and then drop presents off, and it's like our own little post office. So you drop all your presents and then they're there for such and such, and so you're gonna kind of self-deliver with the family,
right.
Apart obviously from the presents that come direct from Santa's sleigh on Christmas Eve. So we don't generally see the reactions. You kind of get that phone call between Christmas and New Year. But I remember giving again, like Jamie, I don't think it was a Christmas present. I think it was a Mother's Day present that I made, obviously for my mum, a few years ago now, and she was really happy with that. And it kind of went literally. Do you remember when you were a kid and you come home with that tatty old piece of paper that had been kicking around your school bag or your drawer for like a month or the whole term, and you get home at the end and it was all tatty and horrible, but your mum loved it and it went on the fridge, and there it still is to this day. Kind of had that reaction on the mantelpiece in her living room. So that was, I think, for me, one of the overriding and sort of memorable gift giving that I've had.
I've had one, and like Richard, my family is spread out across the United States. I mean, I've go from California to Illinois to Florida to the Dakotas. I mean, so I'm not in their home on Christmas Day when they open their presents, so I really don't know about that. But there's one that I never, and this is a true story, and I think Jamie may remember it. Absolutely true story. What started out as me trying to teach my wife a lesson turned into something I never expected. I made a video about it actually a while back. It was called something but along the lines, I forget what I titled, but it had to do with making rustic cheese boards. and it was nothing more that because I had because I have my own lumber here. I mean, I cut down my own trees and I have stuff stored and whatever. Anyway, I milled up slabs off of a birch tree.
Yes, I remember now.
Left the bark on them, and then finished the tops, and then put some little rubber feet on the bottom so they wouldn't mar up anybody's surfaces. And I gave that to my wife because she asked me to make a rustic cheese board for her office party or something. And I'm scratching my head going, rustic? How do you make a rustic cheese board? I'm going, and I was like, this is crazy. This is nuts. And I gave it to her and she took it in to work. And all the ladies there loved it. And they all wanted one too. I was like, you got to be joking me. Because she wanted me to make like 10 more. And then she told me that year for Christmas, I want to give those away to my family too. Do you have any more of that? I said, you want me to do 10 more of those for your family? She's like, yeah. And they all loved them. And it was nothing more than a piece of 8/4-inch birch that I cut out of a tree, left the bark on, and just put a finish over the top and mailed them out. And everybody loved them. I can't explain it, but hey, there you go. You never know.
Do you guys have any kind of traditions in your family to do with making? Like
used to.
Where I mean, used to. Somebody said in the chat, and forgive me, I didn't.
My older brother and I used to have an ongoing thing every Christmas. And the present was always the same. The present we bought each other the same thing year in, year out every Christmas, and it was it was a $50 gift card to the local home center for us to get whatever we wanted to. If we wanted to cash in to buy some wood or make whatever, get some screws. Anyway, that was the present, and every year it never changed. What did change though was the packaging. It started out, rather funny. I think I super glued, or I made something out of I know what it was. It was a pair of denim pants I had. I had an old pair of denim pants that I cut up and made like a little pocket for the gift card to go in. But then I sewed the denim shut and glued it just to make it really hard for him to get the gift card out. And from that, it compounded from year after year after year to the point where the last present I gave him weighed 50 pounds. And I will kiss your rear end if he ever got the gift card out of that thing, because I poured it. The middle of it was the gift card and a block of cement, and it was surrounded by. I mean, it just got stupid. But we don't do that anymore because obviously shipping would get to be rather nuts. But yeah, it was just him and I having a poke at each other during Christmas. That's all.
Merry Christmas, bro. Here's 50 pounds of concrete. Good luck.
And there's a $50 gift card in the middle of that if you can find it.
But so what you didn't realize, Chris, was the next year was you got that gift card.
The same thing back. Yeah, probably a gift exchange. I'm saving this and giving this back to him next year. Anyway,
growing up, we always used to kind of do the same routine on Christmas Day. And we used to go to my dad's dad, and my mum would always make brandy butter. Do you know what brandy butter is? It's literally butter, icing sugar, and brandy all mixed together, and it goes in the fridge hard. But you put it on your Christmas pudding and your mince pies, and it's absolutely amazing. You don't put cream on Christmas pudding, people. You put brandy butter on there. Anyway, this was our tradition. It would always be my mum that made it, and I remember one year, because when I was a wee nipper, my dad was a policeman. So sometimes he would be working like nights on Christmas Eve, or he'd be on a late on Christmas Eve. So last thing you wanted to do was get up at 4 a.m. when the kids were up and opening all the presents. But he'd join in. And we used to drive, it's about a half-hour drive to my grandfather's. And we'd take a pot of brandy butter and a pint of milk for all the teas and everything, and we'd driven all the way out there. And my dad had gone to Mum, "Have you got the brandy butter?" And it was literally, "I thought you brought it." No, you brought it. No, definitely you brought it. I left it on the table for you. And there was this moment, and my granddad stood in the doorway going, "What do you mean? There's no brandy butter?" And my dad was like, back in the car.
Going on.
Because just to get this tub of brandy butter, which was probably like, I don't know, like 8 or 10 ounces of brandy butter, but Christmas was a complete failure if we didn't have it. And bless him, I think he'd done late on Christmas Eve. The last thing you wanted to do was drive around Christmas morning with a little pot of butter, basically. That was a good make.
Yeah. And yeah, that's actually, and anybody who's got, and we can get into that later because we got some gift ideas we want to throw at you, because hopefully the chat will get involved with ideas that they have for other people too, so that people that are looking to make gifts quick and easy, because we're kind of under the gun. We're recording this on the 6th of December, so there's 19 days. Anyway.
So just to butt in, Chris, because we'll miss the moment otherwise. Jigsy Shed in the comments has said in the chat that he's made loads of presents and he loves giving people handmade gifts. So Jigsy, stick those items in the chat, what you've made, and we can read them out to people to give others ideas of what to make as well. So
yeah, absolutely.
That would help.
And we can probably blow through the rest of these questions really quickly, but I want to get to them. Have you ever received a handmade present that metaphorically blew your mind?
I think I'm going to stick with the brandy butter because it's awesome and it's really easy to make. And I make it myself now. I remember when I was a student, I had to. This is butter, icing, sugar, and brandy, and you mix the lot together and put it in the fridge. That's the recipe. And I literally had to ring my mum and ask her over the phone 2 days before. Mum, how do you make brandy butter? That's what happens when you're a student. You leave home thinking you know the world, and you go, I can't even make a sandwich. And
how do you bake a potato?
yeah, that's it. Someone's just asked for a cup of coffee. How do I make a cup of coffee? And now I make it for Christmas. And Kat doesn't really love it, but she has it because I love it, and we have to make it for Christmas. But also, you can use amaretto as well. A little tip. We did that one because we ran out of bread.
Jamie, what about you? Have you ever received anybody ever make something for you by hand that you were literally blown away by?
So yeah, I've actually received quite a few gifts from Wayne the Woodturner, but what would actually blow my mind if I was actually got to keep them. So what actually happens is
I know that feeling
is so Wayne sends me bowls, wall hangings, all sorts of stuff that he makes, goblets, every now and again. And it gets me opening up the package. So the latest one, he sent me a couple of pieces. I'm not sure if I've got them in here. And I opened up the box, and as I was pulling them out, and they kind of got snatched out of my hand, and it was one of them things of, oh, has he sent me some more stuff? Oh, ain't he a nice man? And I was like,
it's actually mine.
Okay. I guess that is yours then.
Misappropriations. My answer to that question is
Wayne, stop making nice stuff. That's all I'm going to say.
And send it to Jamie because he never gets it. I've never received a handmade present from anybody before. That's, I kid you not, I haven't. I never have. And I'm not dropping hints, boys. So don't go sending me anything because I'm not sending anything back. All right. So
that's not a hint. Yes, it is.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't.
But yes, it is.
No, it isn't. Ooh. No, it isn't. Because if somebody did that, I would feel obliged to make something else and bring it back. And I'm not doing that. So don't send me anything.
No, I don't give to receive.
No, anyway, shut up, Jamie.
I have one to add to that list.
Hashtag make Chrissy's Christmas.
No, don't do it. Because then I'll feel guilty, and then you won't be making me feel happy. You'll be making me feel guilty. That wouldn't be cool.
I've never heard of that.
Chris to fall out with his mailman. So the bigger and the heavier, the better. Preferably like a really awkward size that the mailman's got to do his
the size of
climbing up the hill.
The size of an 8-inch jointer would be really nice.
I didn't know Snow White had a dwarf called Guilty.
Oh God. Anyway, yeah, he does.
Honestly, I have one to add to that list.
He died from COVID. Go ahead.
A pair of socks.
Okay.
You know how people like
yes,
hankies and socks are like a Christmas gift you give to grandparents and uncles and all that kind of vaguely distant. As a lot of you will know, Kat does a lot of knitting and crocheting.
Oh,
yeah. So if you have ever had I mean, we're talking. Have you ever been to a tailor's and had a suit tailored, Chris? You
Yes,
know, when
I've
you
got-
stand there and the guy's with a tape measure and he's like,
Yes.
"Woo," and it fits perfectly. Imagine having that kind of a service with a pair of socks. And like literally test fittings around the toe and the heel, and having the most amazing, soft, warm, comfy, cozy socks
Right.
that just fit you perfectly. 2 pairs of socks that I had from Cat, and
works.
they are amazing.
That works. And then I've got to correct myself because I am a liar. And I feel bad now because Matt Brander reminded me that he turned me a really nice pen for Christmas once. And that's literally, I believe it or not, I believe it's the only handmade Christmas present I've ever got. It was from Matt Brander. Thank you, Matt. And but Matt, let's be honest, you turned that pen out of a piece of wood that I gave you. So it's okay.
So basically, Matt Brander bought you a pen kit.
No, no, Matt. No. Matt knows I'm joking. Matt knows I'm joking. All right. Next question. Any advice for someone who has never made a present for someone else and is feeling a bit nervous about doing so now?
I'd just say just do it.
Definitely.
So do I. And honestly, but if you're going to do it and you're feeling a little bit nervous about it, then do it for somebody you know is going to love it because you made it. That makes it a lot easier. It's like, it's like when you remember coming home from second grade and you had that mess of a thing that you called art and your mom hung it on the wall and it stayed there forever, just because she knew that her son made that. Make a present like that for somebody who will receive it and just love the fact that you made it. And that'll get you going.
The truth of the matter is, I don't think it would come out. Well, I know it wouldn't come out any different as if you were making it for nobody. It'd come out exactly the same.
Yeah, exactly. So you might as well give it to somebody. Why not?
But also to add to that, I think if you are in any way nervous about making whatever it is for whoever it is, make it because you want to make it, not because. Don't feel obliged to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, don't not do it because you're scared. Do it because you want to. If that makes sense. Because if you do, get it wrong in inverted commas, and that person isn't quite as grateful as maybe you hope they will be, then you're not on the back foot feeling bad for them not liking it and for you not making the right thing. Do you see what I mean?
So you can always just walk away from that and say, "Hey, I had fun making it," and if they don't like it, that's fine.
Yeah.
Anyway, I have answers for this, but I'll go ahead and ask you guys, and I might as well get Jamie out of the way because if anybody's going to have a weird answer, it would be him. Is there anything that you would not make? Is there anything that you would not make as a present and give to someone?
Honestly, I don't know. I can't.
I think it depends on the person. If you're making it for somebody and you know what their likes are, then I kind of restrict it to that. I mean, if you know that they like, bizarre finger painting, then I'd finger paint them something. It's okay. I mean, I can't think of anything that I wouldn't. I mean, I wouldn't make a handmade bicycle for a one-legged man. That's just a matter of decorum. It's probably not something you should do. It's like out of just like that, you're not pointing out somebody else's deficiency. Then I don't have a problem with it. What about you, Jamie?
So for me, let's say for argument's sake, if you're making for another maker, I wouldn't go and do an intricate scroll saw piece for another scroller. I wouldn't go and turn a bowl for a wood turner.
Right.
Why go doing something for something they can do themselves?
Yeah, I wouldn't make a sex toy for my sister. I mean, there are, but
exactly,
or anyone else's. I'd hope, Chris.
It's a moral. You just worry about
because it's not a proper present.
Yeah, well, you know what? I could gift her. I don't know. Anyway, it's just I know. I mean, no. I'd make somebody whatever they wanted. I don't care what it was, as long as I had the capability of making it. I'd do it. All right. What are your thoughts on? Final question. What are your thoughts on maker Secret Santa exchanges?
I like them. I think they're a good idea.
I think they're great if you want to get
I'm,
involved.
I'm, I'm
get
actually
involved.
I'm actually part of one right now. Actually,
Oh yeah. I mean, you know what? It's you're the one that's going to get yourself into that. So if you want to do it, do it. If you don't want to do it, don't. You know.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, you see, I'm reluctant to get involved in those sorts of things personally. Don't get me wrong, I think they're awesome, and actually, when there's one that goes on every year, it has done for the last few years. I think it might be the one that Andy's thinking of, because I know if you listen
Fools
to
with Tools,
Andy's,
the treasure trade.
Fools with Tools, yeah.
If you listen to Andy's podcast, he refers to it, and it goes into a little bit of detail about who he was making for and the kind of, not the issues that he had, but the kind of the problem solving and the dilemmas and the thoughts that he went through for the build up of that. And but the nature of us, I mean, I used to hate doing Secret Santas at work, when all you had to do was go and spend a $5 on the person.
Right.
It would be, do you know that person? You know, in the case of the treasure trade, how well do you know the person that you end up being paired with? Because that's out of your control. I mean, at work, it was like, do I even like this person? You know, you sort
Yeah.
of, there's an element of, yes, you get yourself into it, but you sort of kind of potentially go into it blindly, if that makes sense.
Because you don't know who you'll be making for, right? Yeah.
Whereas if you go, actually, do you know what? I'm going to make Jamie a present. I want to make Jamie something, or I want to make Chris something, or I'm going to make my mum something, or
Right.
my other half, or whoever. You've got 100% control over that. And actually, at the end of the day, if it all goes wrong, you can
Piss
get
off.
on Amazon on the 23rd of December and bail yourself out. Because these things happen as well. We've all who's ever made anything for a client, to a deadline, something's gone wrong, and you're like, yeah, actually, there's been a delay. I'm gonna have to deliver this thing a week later. Well, Christmas is Christmas. It's not coming again for another 365 days. So that deadline's not fixed. So there's a sort of pressure you could sort of do without potentially with those. So I personally tend to sit on the sideline and go, oh, that's a good idea. I like that idea, and get a bit of inspiration from it.
Okay. It's like I said, it's up to the person. If you're into it and you want to do it, then do it. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
I think it's great. It kind of brings the community together too. To a certain extent for those that want to get involved. So, yeah, rock on. And if you're pulling a name out of a hat, if it's a Secret Santa thing and you don't know who you're going to be making it for, and you planned on making metal working tongs to give away to whoever, and you find out the guy that you're giving it to isn't a metal worker, then okay, square one. What do you do now? It's like, okay, anyway.
Luckily, in this community, you can always kind of revert back to, I'll just make their logo.
Yeah, well, that's true. You can always do that. What about gift ideas, guys? Because we talked about that, and I kind of juiced the comment section for people. I hope they've been thinking about that. Things that they've come up with, or they have done in the past that were, and I give you the guidelines. Something that's not expensive, quick and easy to do. Assuming that you have to do a bunch of them. You got any? Do you have any kind of quick gift ideas that you could make? On the cheap, but still come out relatively decent that people might appreciate.
If you've got a lathe, I don't think you could be a nice looking fruit bowl out of a nice wood. Again, pens, bottle stoppers, all that kind of. You get some fantastic kits. Even Christmas tree ornaments, you can make them on the lathe as well. There's so many things you can make on there. There's so many things you can make on the scroll saw as well.
Love Angels put in the live chat tree decorations.
Yeah.
So again, going back to the scroll saw, it's not just for flat work. You can do tree ornaments, 3D compound cuts. Great stuff to make.
It depends on your skill set, but things that you can knock out relatively quickly. Richard, have you got anything that you could think of?
One thing I was thinking of, I think he's redone the video as well this year, but do you remember a few years ago, Steve Ramsey put out a video on making snowflake tree decorations?
Yes, I did see that.
And it's basically a batching operation, really, really simple, and then a not particularly complicated glue up, and then the slicing on the bandsaw or the table saw, and you can batch these things out. I did it a few years ago, and they're very simple. But it's huge quantities that you can make out of these things. They're really like potentially craft fair heaven, because an hour and you can knock out a couple of hundred things that you could cheaply sell at a craft fair. I mean, that's potentially huge profit. But from a gift point of view, they're not really the sort of thing that I would give as a gift.
Okay.
But they're a great thing for for the Litleys to give to their grandparents, because they can be decorated, and then that's hugely personal. I think for me, and I'm looking at this from the giving it to a non-woodworker, well, not necessarily maker, but certainly a non-woodworker perspective. For me, it's got to be pens, because they are fairly quick. They're actually fairly easy to kind of personalise somebody's favourite colour, or if you go down the resin road, then
the world's your oyster.
Oyster, literally. But the perceived value of those can be huge.
Quite long, yeah.
So I mean, that's my sort of probably my go-to is a pen. And
I've got a list that I put together of a bunch of them that I've seen, and a lot of these I haven't done myself. I mean, some of them I have, but I've seen that, I looked at and went, you know what, that wouldn't be bad. I mean, it's not what I would call a major present, but it's it's that person that that you're going to get a present for, but you're not going to spend a ton of time making or doing whatever the case may be. There are these, and I think we probably all maybe have seen them. The little coasters that are made to look like pallets. You know what I'm talking about? Okay, but you can actually make those on your own really cheaply. And the way to kind of customize them, the way I saw it done was there was the 3 pieces of wood that on the bottom of the pallet. Okay, they were all painted white. And then the cross parts to the pallet that go across it would actually hold whatever was on top of it. You drink most likely. Were done with. They were wrapped in different types of fabric, and then glued onto the white 3 white things on the bottom. And it looked like a pallet, but had a pallet that had a different design on each slat, and they were really kind of cool. So it's kind of more of a crafty thing that you could do with those. Crafters. I haven't done this, but somebody I knew did this a while back. And I don't know if it's still a thing or not. You can get those plastic beads, different colored plastic beads that, people used to make their own necklaces out of these cheap things. If you can buy a bag of plastic beads, and if you have a cookie cutter, you can put the beads in the cookie cutter on a non-stick baking sheet, and, just a single layer. Stick it in the oven at like 450 degrees for however long it takes for that plastic to melt together. Take it out, pull it out, get it out of the cookie cutter, whatever shape it is in, drill a hole in the top, and you've got one of those sun catchers that people put in their windows and that you can hang outside. Simple, cheap, easy to do. I mean, it's not a big present. We talked about cheese boards, the stupid rustic ones that I made, but I mean, let's be honest, a cheese board is nothing more than a plank of wood. Right? I mean, it's a plank of wood. I mean, if you want to go out and spend $3 on the little knife, one package that, you got that.
My sister asked me to make her one, and I told her to go to TK Maxx.
And I thought this would be cool for people that sew, because I don't know about in the UK or anywhere else in the world, but I mean, here in the US, they've stopped at the supermarkets. You can no longer get plastic bags. We all have to bring in our own bags, or if we have to pay a dime, I think, for a paper bag if we got our bags. But everybody's going in with their own bags nowadays. If you're a seamstress, make a quick bag and decorate it for the people that go to do the shopping. If you know that so-and-so does the shopping on a weekly basis, make them, a couple bags to take with them. Personalized gift for them, because they're going to use them, and they'll appreciate them.
And
I've
got enough bride bags to save last a lifetime.
Along Richard's line, now I'm going to wrap this up here because we have to get on to Jamie's thing.
No, we don't. It's fine. You crack on.
Keep talking.
We've got loads.
And much along what Richard was talking about, if you know somebody who cooks flavored butter jars, they make those small little mason jars that have the same kind of mason jar top on them as larger mason jars do. Yeah, make different flavored butters and package them up in like a 3-pack and then mail them out. Because you can make berry butter. Obviously, you can make garlic butter. There's a honey butter. You can do all kinds of. But people who cook would really appreciate those. Simple, easy, and it don't cost that much.
You just reminded me actually. Candles,
Beeswax candles, cheap and easy. Yep.
Go and buy a whole load of candles, melt them all down, turn them into. I jest, but you can reshape them to other things. You can buy obviously the paraffin wax pellets and dyes, and you can add the scents and all the rest of it.
You can do soaps as well, can't you?
Yeah, soaps is another one, and certainly a few years ago, actually, I remember I got my daughter a candle and soap making kit, so she can make her own soap. So that was quite popular. I don't know if it's on the top 10 Christmas gift list this year, but it certainly was a few years ago because they're kind of trendy. Right. But moving on from the butters is jams and preserves.
Salsas. I mean, Richard, I don't want to go down this rabbit hole because we really are running down. But I mean, if you know,
I'm well prepared to go down this rabbit hole.
I know you are because
it tastes to get rid of Jamie's.
Richard's hungry. Last one I'll put up there for woodworkers: make trivets. Trivets are the simplest thing in the world to make in the world, and they're usable. People who put big pots of hot stew in the middle of the dining room table, you're going to want a trivet to put that pot on. So, I mean, those are easy too. So, there you go. All right, Jamie, wrap it up. We're already running long.
All right. It's time for Jamie's page.
No,
you didn't even have time to take your headphones off, Chris.
Sorry. It's all right. Go ahead.
No, you didn't have time to take your headphones off. Right. Little bit of news. Well, not really news. So I've been thinking about getting my logo revamped and all that sort of stuff so I can sort out some new stickers. And so I just want to say a big thanks to Dale from Metal Tree Studios for helping me out getting that sorted. So yeah, thanks Dale for helping me get that sorted. And speaking of stickers, there's a £20 discount off at checkout. If you go to the website, makersinternationalpodcast.com /stickers, put in all your details, blah, blah, blah. And at checkout, like I said, you get £20 off. Onto my shout out. So sticking with today's theme of Christmas gifts, my shout out goes to Dan from Zebrano Woodcraft. He's done a DIY Christmas gifts anyone can make, only elbow grease required.
Awesome.
So he's made 5 different Christmas gifts made with minimal tools. He basically made an adult colouring book, a wooden phone case, guitar pick, an adjustable macrame gemstone bracelet, and an upcycled chalkboard. So awesome. Great video. Go and check it out. Dan from Zebrano Woodcraft.
Rock and roll. Richard?
Nice. Well, I've got another kind of gift-related, I guess, video shout out this way. Have you seen? I think I shouted out Bob last week, didn't I? Last time, or certainly recently. Bob, I like to make stuff. Did I? I can't remember who my shout out was last week.
No, that would be this week.
Well, he made. It's because I sent it in really early. You see, Chris normally.
Richard confuses being prepared for this week as to what he did last week. Anyway,
we threw him off
completely.
Wow.
But yeah, Bob made like a really cool, simple little leather wallet from just a few offcuts of 3mm leather. Really nice design, really simple. And as he says in his video, it's a good little present. I'm not going to make it as a present. I think I'm going to make myself one. But
Merry Christmas to me.
But that also really fits well with the making things because, leather crafting is not necessarily and doesn't have to be as complicated or tool intensive as woodworking and metalworking and stuff like that.
It can be very simple. I actually have another idea for leather. Mason jar koozies. This is for Sterling Davis. Basically, if you wrap a mason jar with a piece of leather, tie it together, and then wrap a strap on the bottom so the mason jar doesn't fall out. Tie that on, then tie a strap off to the side from the top and the bottom. Tie that on. You got a mug that Sterling would never have to pour his moonshine out into the glasses anymore. He could just drink it straight out of the jar. Anyway,
This big.
I'm serious. That idea came to me via Sterling. You know, I don't know how that happened, but
You're gonna get a whole still. You're gonna get a whole cow and wrap it around a still.
my shout out this week. I'm headed over to Greece for my shout out today in the form of one Costas Annikis Deferitas. He did a video titled "Wood Turning a Multi-Center See-Through Disc."
Dude,
And
that came out awesome.
And it was a cool video to watch too. You can actually see through the disc, and he mounted it on a really cool display stand. Anyway, if you haven't seen it, the links to everything we just mentioned are down in the description today. So get and check those out. But give Costas a look, because I think that was pretty cool.
I haven't seen that one, but that does sound really cool. I'm going to go.
It's a great video, mate.
I might even watch that before I go and watch Jamie's live premiere tonight. Are you doing a premiere tonight, Jamie?
I am doing a premiere tonight. I'm doing a premiere in about 23 minutes, and Caitlin the cat is on after me at 15:15.
I was going to say that sounds like it's probably just before Caitlin's premiere as well. So cool.
Yeah.
Thank you for providing that segue, so Jamie wouldn't have to interrupt us to go. Oh, by the way. So anyway, all right.
I tried, and I'm sure he'll put the. He already has put the link down in the live chat for people watching tonight. So, if I think probably it's a good time to wrap tonight's show up. I'm not sure if we're going to do a quick. We are not on Patreon, but we do a little live show for our live listeners anyway. And if you want to join us, you have to listen live, because you won't even hear this on the post production show until next week, when I think we're looking forward to next year. So for the next week, you can look forward for what we're looking forward to for next week. And if you think that's complicated, you'll have to join us. So
in other words, we don't know what we're doing next week. We have no clue.
We kind of do, but not completely. No, thanks, Chris.
You're welcome.
Just you are the family wedge that we are. To drive into our cracks, aren't you?
I'm not going to go there.
And I know he's not going to edit that out.
I'm not going to go there. I'm leaving that right where it sits.
Awesome. Well, on that note, I think we probably should go. So we'll see you next week.